Yummy? 美味しい？美味しいの？うん。
Today we're going to make Nama-shokupan. Shokupan means bread loaf in Japanese, but what makes this special is that you can eat it as is, no butter, no jam needed. That's why it's called Nama-shokupan. Nama means raw or fresh, and in this case, it means you can eat and enjoy the bread straight up because it's so soft and flavorful already. The secret ingredient? Purple sweet potato, which is also known as Japanese yam. Right here, I've already pre-cut and boiled some Japanese yam that I picked up from the Canadian superstore. This recipe will make one loaf of nama-shokupan in a 9 by 5 inch pan, or about 23 by 13 centimeters. For your reference, all the ingredients are listed in the info box below. To start, we're going to blend 80 grams of boiled Japanese yam with 275 grams of water. Blend until the mixture is completely smooth. Next, pour the mixture into a pot and heat it up gently until it starts to steam. Make sure you don't boil it, we're just warming it up. That's because we'll be pouring this mixture directly into our flour and yeast, and we don't want to kill the yeast before it even gets a chance to grow, right? Look at this beautiful purple color, and it's completely natural, can you believe it? While the mixture is heating up, let's go ahead and add 500 grams of bread flour and 2.5 grams of instant yeast into a mixing bowl. If you have a stand mixer like I do, go ahead and use the dough hook attachment and start mixing the dry ingredients on low speed. Now back to the pot. We're going to add about 100 grams of 35% whipping cream to our Japanese yam mixture. The cream adds richness and fat to the dough, making the bread very soft, tender, and just a little bit creamy. This whipping cream, combined with the natural sweetness and flavor of the Japanese yam, is what makes this bread so delicious. You really don't need to add anything else to it. Now we're going to slowly pour our warm sweet potato mixture into the bowl. Make sure to add it very gently and very gradually. We don't want the dough to heat up too much or it could affect the yeast. Once the mixture comes together into a wet dough, you can increase the speed to medium. Let it keep mixing until it turns into a smooth dough that no longer sticks to the sides of the bowl. That's when you know it's ready for the next step. Alright, now let's get our hands a little wet and carefully take the dough off the dough hook. This way, it won't stick to your hands. After that, grab a damp cloth and cover the mixing bowl to keep the dough from drying out. If the dough dries out, it won't rise properly, and nobody wants to eat a rock, right? While the dough is rising, let's get our bread loaf pan ready. To prevent the dough from sticking, you've got a couple of options. You can brush some oil onto the pan and then dust it with a bit of flour, or you can just do it like I did, just line it with a piece of parchment paper. And here's how I cut and line the parchment paper to fit my loaf pan perfectly. Now, because of the whipping cream, the dough will rise a little slower than usual. If your house is warm, you can just let it proof on the countertop. But if it's a bit chilly, you might want to place it in a warm place like inside your oven or your microwave. And if your house is really cold, go ahead and use the proofing function to give the dough the extra warmth it needs. Once the dough has risen to double its size, it's time to take it out. At this stage, it might still be a little too wet or sticky to handle, so lightly dust it with some flour. Just be careful not to use too much, because too much flour can make your bread very dense, and we want it soft and fluffy. Because if it's not soft and fluffy, it's not nama-shokupan, right? Now, knead the dough gently for about a minute or two. What we're trying to do here is to get rid of any of the large bubbles trapped inside the dough. This helps improve the texture and consistency of the bread, and it also gives the top of the bread a smoother, more even look. Once you're done kneading, pinch the ends of the dough together and tuck the edges underneath to create a smooth top. Then, using the edges of your palm, gently drag the dough towards you on the counter. This helps tighten the surface and gives it an even, smoother, rounder top. This step makes a big difference in how beautiful your loaf looks after baking. Once you are happy with the shape of your dough, go ahead and place it in your lined bread pan. To prevent it from drying out during the second proof, I like to lightly spray or brush some water over the top of the dough. My house is pretty dry, so I usually have to reapply water a couple of times while it's proving. Just keep an eye on it. If the surface dries out, the dough will not rise properly, and that will be a problem. The second proof usually takes much less time than the first. Once the dough has doubled in size again, and the top is just starting to rise above the edge of the pan, it's time to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll bake the dough for about 23 to 28 minutes. Since I'm using a countertop oven this time, I baked it on the bottom rack, but if I were using my full-size stove oven, I'd place it one rack below the middle. In my oven, it took exactly 25 minutes, but every oven is a little different, so keep an eye on it during the last few minutes. Well, just look at how beautiful this loaf turned out. The top is perfectly golden brown, and the inside has this soft, natural pastel purple color from the Japanese yam. So pretty, and no food coloring needed. I actually had the bread baking while we walked over to the day home to pick up my child, and when we got back, my husband said, "I can smell the bread, it smells amazing." Honestly, the aroma fills the whole house. It's that good. This bread makes a really healthy snack for my daughter. There's no added sugar, just 4 ingredients plus water, and it's made entirely from whole foods. She loves it so much that she kept asking for more. And the best part, she didn't even want anything on it, not even peanut butter, just the bread on its own. That's when you know it's really good. This is how soft it is the next day. It's all gone within 24 hours though. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and please try it out. See you next time.